My name is Stephen Hoyedemi, and you're welcome to Policy Affairs on Ominira TV. Policy Affairs is a platform where we bring experts and social commentators to review and analyze policy issues across the continent and provide necessary solutions. Today, we'll be having two young ladies who have been studying the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan in particular. They'll be educating us about these policies and providing solutions and way forward. Do enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dara. I am an associate with the Department of Policy, Research and Governance at Granger Solicitors.
I'm Oreoluwa Babatokwe. The Ergp is an acronym for the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. It's a medium-term plan that was established in 2016 by the Buhari administration. It was medium-term because it spans over to 2017 to 2020, a period of 4 years. Because of the recession that Nigeria fell into at that time, the plan was set out to set out policies to help bring out Nigeria from that recession and create an economic stability.
It was born out of the recession, the economic recession that Nigeria slipped into, in addition to the rise in inflation rate and a lot of other things. And so the current administration, which is the Buhari administration, saw a need to implement a policy that would bring Nigeria out of the economic decline. The Ergp projected that by 2020 there will be an increase in real GDP, the real GDP rate from 1.5 to 7%, which is quite a high shoot. The Ergp also projected that inflation rates would reduce from about 18.55% to 9.9%, which is that's like half of the rates that it was as of 2016. So it also projected a reduction in unemployment rate. It said the unemployment rate will reduce from 14.2% to about 11.23%, which is quite a reasonable margin, yes, for the 4-year horizon plan. Yes.
In addition to that, the ERGP, the plan was set out to focus more on the non-oil sector of Nigeria. I don't know if you know that in Nigeria we have this high dependence on oil for government revenue. So they wanted a situation whereby there would be more focus on the non-oil sector, the agriculture and food security sector, the employment sector, raising of infrastructure. Then they try to set out areas in which those other sectors can meet up. So there will be the dependence not just be on oil, to be set out across all other sectors. Well, the focus on non-oil sector does not mean that the oil sector is not going to be improved. Yeah. But I think it's just to deviate from a situation whereby the improvement is only happening in the oil sector. Mm. So the plan is now, while we are improving the oil sector, there's other sectors which might have been abandoned
exactly. For years.
Yes, the plan also sets out to improve it side by side. That's why I said focus on non-oil sector, because previous times the oil sector has been the one that there's much focus on, emphasis, increasing the price of crude oil, increasing the production. But this plan sets out to not only improve oil, we can't just improve the other sectors and leaving oil. So we both improve the oil sector and improve on this other part, which is the agriculture and the macroeconomic sectors. Yeah.
And you would agree that it wouldn't, the oil sector as it is, yes, may have generated quite a lot of revenue for the country's economy, but you would agree that there's still a lot more that can be done, even in the oil sector. For instance, we, as a country, we import a large quantity of petroleum products, and one of the strategies that the ERGP set out to do was to increase exports, of not just petroleum products, but also agricultural products. It also set out to revamp local refineries, such that production of petroleum products would be increased by 60%, So, and that would also do a lot for our economy, because revamping local refineries would mean job creation for our youths, would also mean that we would begin to export those petroleum products, which would impact positively on the current value of the naira, so it has a lot of ripple effects. So the fact that the Ergp also still puts some strategies for oil doesn't mean that there's no focus, that there's no plan for other sectors. Yes, it's just to strike a balance, I suppose.
One of the general I don't know, things that you see when you read the plan is the fact that most of the projections are overtly ambitious. That was one of our
Major criticisms.
Yes, major criticisms we have with it. It is okay. Nigeria was in recession. We want a plan that will bring us out of it. Okay, it's commendable the fact that they thought of this plan and they set it out. But we have to put the economic realities of Nigeria into consideration. We can't just write things on a piece of paper that, okay, we want this to happen and just be optimistic and without
practical.
Exactly, we have to be pragmatic about it. So, it's the fact that they wrote many of those things there. It's just, okay, we want this to happen. The unemployment rate which they talked about too, it was projected that by now it will have reduced to maybe 14%.
Yes, from 14 to 11.23.
But now it's at 18%.
Has even increased.
It's increased. So that's one of the major issues we have with the plan. The fact that it's overtly ambitious. So it's not pragmatic. The economic realities of Nigeria were not put into consideration.
I believe that if we cannot achieve some measure of progress within the 4-year horizon plan, then we can't handle a longer term plan, So she's not saying that the plan is not achievable within the period. She's saying that the projections and extrapolations were way too ambitious. We could have been more realistic in the plans, considering current economic realities on ground, So looking at the inflation rates, for instance, the CBN has, and other financial bodies have made a lot of progress, because inflation rate seems to be the major hinge of success of the Ergp. The inflation rate was targeted to reduce from 18.55, which it was in 2016, to 9.9, by 2020. And currently, the inflation rate has dropped to 11, to 11.23. Which is a lot of progress from 18 that it was.
The plan set out in the Ergp, that if, the Ergp. The issue is not that it's not a good, anybody just looking at the plan, reading the plan, will be filled with so much hope. Very aspirational plan. And also looking at this election coming up next year. So if you look at the Nigerian factor, when a particular administration sets out a plan, it falls into abandonment and neglect when the administration changes, when there's a change of government. Okay, so what happens when, after the election,
2019,
if the Buhari administration does not continue? What is the fate of the plan? There are no measures set out that, okay, whether or not the Buhari administration continues, the plan will be effective. Okay, so another administration can come up and just leave it wherever it happens. The inflation we talked about has reached progress. Maybe it will just end. Then the plan will not be, then they'll bring up another plan, like the Jonathan
Shorty program.
So that's the factors that are put into consideration. The plan is a good plan. It's even if at 2020 all cannot be achieved, maybe to an extent to be achieved, but what happens when there's a change of government?
One of the ways by which the Ergp, the sustainability of the plan would have been secured, would have been to give the Ergp legislative backing. If it had been enacted maybe by a certain law, no matter how minute, if it was just given some legislative backing, the delivery unit set up in the Ergp, the Ergp set up delivery units in different sectors, in different ministries, it would have secured their function, so regardless of the new administration, change of administration. For instance, the joint planning board that is that comprises of the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Budget and National Planning and the permanent secretary of the different states Budget and National Planning Committee. The JPB is subject to change because when new administrations come, they appoint new ministers, new leadership. So these ministries would change administrations, and then the delivery units in each ministry may phase out, you know. So giving it legislative backing would secure, because the ERGP is a great plan, and if a new administration comes up and can, you know, continue in that same vision and work towards implementing it, it would be beautiful, you know. But unfortunately, we have a country where administrations, you know, different policies go defunct when administrations change.
There were limited specifics. What are you going to do? Okay, to improve the lives. Do what? Okay, to establish something like that. So someone that is in the plan. Okay, this is what they've done. Okay, for you to want to assess and not to know the success of the plan. You see. Okay, they said they will set out an establishment listing. Okay, you look at, is the establishment set out? No. So the specifics, to include specifics and remove the terms that seem so vague and ambiguous. That's one of the things.
There's particularly nothing that I would want to remove, because the plans are great if they can be implemented. They all touch on soft spots, you know, in the economy. So, and as regards adding, that's the same thing I would add. Specifics, break it down. A plan is an intended set of actions that seek to achieve a goal. So, but the ERGP tends to be more of a list of goals, you know. So it particularly doesn't qualify as a plan, you know, in the sense of what a plan should be. What are the set of actions? What are the things you intend to do? Who is responsible for this? Who is responsible for that? You know, health, you want to work on health. How? We will build this number of hospitals or primary healthcare centers in this and these areas that we have realized that there's high mortality rates, you know, things like that. But no, it's just, we will do this. It is, you know, projected to go to this. So, you know, it will be adding specifics would be the major change. Yes, so that the population, the layman, can hold the government accountable, that you said you will do this, we haven't seen it, you know. So that's my view, you know, that's my take on the ERGP.
I hope you've learned one or two things about the Economic and Recovery Group Plan of Nigeria's federal government. Do you think this policy is actually achievable by 2020? What are your thoughts? Let's have them. And keep watching Ominira TV. Thank you.